In this world, we chase ownership. We fight for titles, wealth, relationships, and status, believing that once we have them, we are secure. We build empires of possessions, attach our identity to achievements, and hold on to people as if they will be ours forever. But what if I told you, everything you think you own is an illusion? The money in your bank, it can vanish overnight. The person you love, they can walk away in an instant. The home you live in, one disaster and it's gone. Everything you cling to, your job, your reputation, even your body, will eventually slip through your fingers. And that terrifies people. We live in constant fear of loss, fear of losing money, fear of losing love, fear of losing control. And yet, no matter how tightly we hold on, nothing is truly ours. But here's the secret that Buddha, the wisest philosophers, and even the happiest billionaires understand. Nothing belongs to you. And that is the key to ultimate freedom. Because when you stop clinging, you stop suffering, you stop fearing loss, and you finally discover what it means to live with true peace. In this video, we're diving into 5 mind-blowing lessons that will shift your perspective on life, success, relationships, and even your own identity. By the end of this, you'll realize why letting go makes you unstoppable, how to detach from suffering without becoming emotionless, why the world's most enlightened and successful people understand this truth. If you're ready to break free from attachment and experience a life of true peace and power, then stay with me, because this will change the way you see everything. Let's begin. Why this matters. We live in a world that constantly tells us ownership equals security. Society pushes the idea that happiness comes from having more money, more success, more recognition. We are told that once we own the perfect house, land the perfect job, or find the perfect relationship, we will finally feel complete. But reality tells a different story. Think about it. How many people have everything society says should make them happy, yet they still feel empty? Celebrities who have fame and fortune but struggle with depression. Millionaires who can buy anything but still feel anxious and restless. People who achieve their dreams only to find they are still searching for more. Why? Because attachment is a trap. The more we cling, the more we suffer. The more we own, the more we fear losing it. The more we attach to something, the more power it has over us. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering. When we believe something belongs to us, whether it's a person, a possession, or even an idea, we become enslaved by it. This is why people suffer after a breakup. This is why financial loss feels like personal failure. This is why aging scares so many, because they believe even their youth was something they could keep. But here's the truth. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is truly yours. And that's not a curse, it's freedom. Imagine living without fear. Imagine moving through life without the constant anxiety of holding on. Imagine being at peace, no matter what happens, because you understand that everything is temporary. That is the mindset of the most resilient, successful, and peaceful people in history. And today you're going to learn exactly how to apply this truth to your own life. Let's begin with the first mind-blowing lesson that will change the way you see everything. Lesson 1, the mind illusion, how society tricks you into attachment. From the moment we learn to speak, we are taught one of the most dangerous words in human language, mine. As children, we grab our toys and scream, "That's mine." As we grow, that same mindset expands. My money, my house, my job, my partner. Society reinforces this illusion, making us believe that ownership equals security. But here's the truth, nothing has ever truly belonged to you. Think about the phone or device you're using right now. You might have paid for it, but can you really claim it's yours forever? It will break, become outdated, or be replaced. The same goes for every single thing you think you own. The illusion of ownership is everywhere. Your money, it can disappear in an instant. One recession, one bad investment, one unexpected crisis. Your job, it's only yours until someone decides otherwise. Your home, one disaster, one economic shift, and it's gone. Even your body, it ages, changes, and eventually you'll have to let it go too. Yet society trains us to attach our identity to these things. A person who loses their wealth often feels like they've lost their worth. A person who gets fired feels like they've lost their purpose. A person who is left by their partner feels like they've lost their value. Why? Because they believe the illusion that these things were ever truly theirs. But Buddhism teaches a radical truth. Detachment is freedom. When you stop saying, "This is mine," and instead say, "I am only borrowing this for a while," something incredible happens. You stop fearing loss. You stop suffering when things change. You start living in the present instead of anxiously clinging to the past or future. Imagine if you saw your possessions, your relationships, even your own success, not as things you own, but as temporary gifts from the universe. Wouldn't that change everything? Because in the end, the tighter you hold on, the more you suffer. But the moment you let go of the illusion of mine, you become untouchable. And that brings us to lesson 2, the identity trap, why you are not who you think you are. Lesson 2, the identity trap, why you are not who you think you are. In today's world, your identity is everything. It's how you define yourself and how the world defines you. And it all starts with labels. Think about it. You might describe yourself as a teacher, a parent, a success story, or even someone struggling with failure. These labels are part of the story you tell yourself daily. But here's a chilling truth. None of these labels are truly you. You are not your job. You are not your relationship. You are not your past. This truth might sound unsettling, but it is the key to freedom. Buddhism teaches us that our sense of self is nothing more than a constructed illusion, an identity that we attach to, believing it's permanent. But it is not. It is fluid, changing, and impermanent, just like everything else in life. The self-concept trap, where we believe we are our labels, is the root of suffering. When we attach too strongly to a fixed idea of who we are, we stop growing. We limit ourselves. We fear change. Why? Because we fear losing who we think we are. Think about the last time you faced a setback. Maybe you lost your job, or a relationship ended. How did you feel? Most likely you felt disoriented, like you had lost a part of yourself. That's because you identified too strongly with what you did or who you were in that relationship. You thought that your identity was tied to that job or role. The Buddha taught that this attachment to identity is one of the greatest causes of suffering. By clinging to our labels, we miss the truth, that we are constantly evolving. The person you were yesterday is not the person you are today, and the person you are today will not be the person you are tomorrow. Now imagine letting go of those fixed identities. What if you didn't define yourself by your past mistakes, your success, your relationships, or even your role in society? Who would you be? You'd be free. Free to change. Free to evolve. Free to become the person you are meant to be. Buddhism teaches us that we are impermanent beings, constantly changing, always evolving. The key is not to fear this change, but to embrace it. If you stop identifying with your past, your job, or your relationships, you free yourself to explore a world of infinite possibilities. By letting go of the need to define yourself by these labels, you begin to discover who you truly are. Not a fixed entity, but a dynamic being. You are not bound by what you've done or where you've been. You are free to choose who you become next. The more you detach from these labels, the more limitless your potential becomes. This brings us to lesson 3. Relationships are not possessions, because once you understand who you truly are, you'll see that your connections with others are not possessions either. Lesson 3. Relationships are not possessions. In the modern world, relationships often feel like possessions, things we own, control, and hold on to tightly. You may see your partner as someone who completes you, your child as someone you must protect, or your friend as someone who needs your constant care. In a way, we often treat the people we care about as if they are extensions of our identity, as if they are ours to keep and shape. But here's the stark reality. Relationships are not possessions. They are not items we can claim ownership over. They are dynamic, evolving connections between two or more people, each with their own autonomy, desires, and paths in life. Buddhism teaches us that attachment to people can be one of the most powerful forms of suffering. This might sound harsh, but think about it. Every time you feel an overwhelming sense of need or desperation for someone, you're unknowingly placing a burden on the relationship. You're acting from a place of attachment, not genuine love. Attachment in Buddhism is not love. Attachment is the craving to keep things exactly the way you want them, to hold on to the people you love forever. But what happens when someone you love changes or even leaves? What happens when the relationship doesn't go as planned? You experience pain, loss, and suffering. You might think, but if I love them, don't I have the right to hold on to them? The answer, though difficult, is no. Love in its purest form is free. It allows the other person to grow, evolve, and be who they truly are, without the pressure of meeting your expectations or fitting into your vision of them. The Buddha's wisdom points us toward the idea that we should love people without clinging to them. When you stop seeing people as your possessions, you open up the possibility of healthier, more fulfilling relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. So let's break this down. Let go of control. Control is the enemy of love. If you try to control a relationship, whether by demanding someone's time, manipulating their actions, or pressuring them into behaving a certain way, you'll create a toxic dynamic. Love should be free-flowing, not constrained by conditions. Embrace impermanence. Every person in your life will change over time. They may evolve, grow, or even leave. The key to peace is understanding and accepting impermanence. People are not static, and your connection with them may shift. If you are able to let go of the illusion that they should always stay the same, you'll find a sense of freedom and peace in your relationships. Respect individual autonomy. Just as you are not defined by the roles you play, neither is anyone else. Your partner, child, or friend is not there to serve you or fulfill your desires. They are independent beings with their own journeys. When you respect their autonomy, you create a space for true intimacy to grow. Now consider this. Have you ever found yourself feeling angry or disappointed when someone didn't meet your expectations? Have you ever been afraid of losing someone you love, holding on so tightly that it creates tension in the relationship? This is the suffering that attachment brings. When you attach to a person as though they are yours to control or keep forever, you create suffering for both yourself and them. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. You can only keep a little, but if you grip too tightly, it slips away. The ultimate freedom in relationships comes when you let go of possession. Love is not about keeping someone by your side. It's about allowing them the freedom to be who they truly are, while also respecting the freedom of your own identity. When you love without attachment, you're free to experience relationships as they are, not as you want them to be. You free yourself from expectations and frustrations, creating space for authentic connections to grow. This is the essence of Buddhist love. Love without clinging, freedom without fear. This brings us to lesson 4, the fear of losing everything. Why it's holding you back, where we explore how this fear paralyzes us and keeps us from living a life of true freedom. Lesson 4, the fear of losing everything. Why it's holding you back in today's world. Fear of loss is one of the most debilitating emotions we face. It's almost universal. From the fear of losing your job, your home, or your financial security, to the fear of losing people you love, this anxiety can consume our lives, making us act from a place of desperation and control. It drives us to make decisions based on fear rather than wisdom, and it often leads to suffering rather than peace. The truth is, this fear isn't just about losing tangible things like possessions or wealth. It's about losing our sense of identity, the parts of ourselves we've come to believe are essential to our happiness. When everything we have becomes attached to our sense of self, losing it can feel like losing who we are. The fear of losing is often rooted in the idea that without these things, we will be nothing. But here's the paradox. The more we fear losing everything, the more we ensure we will lose ourselves in the process. This fear is deeply ingrained in our minds. Buddhism teaches that clinging to things, whether they're people, possessions, or even our own self-image, inevitably leads to suffering. Why? Because everything in this world is impermanent. Nothing lasts forever, not even our most cherished possessions or relationships. Everything changes, and in the end, we must all part with the things we hold most dear. So why does the fear of losing hold such a powerful grip on us? To understand this, let's explore how fear of loss shows up in our lives, how it holds us back, and what we can do about it. 1. Fear of losing control. One of the most profound fears we experience is the fear of losing control. As human beings, we love to feel in control of our environments, our relationships, and our futures. It gives us a sense of stability and security. But when things feel out of control, fear arises. And the more we try to hold on to control, the more it slips through our fingers. Buddhism encourages us to accept the impermanence of life. Things will change, people will come and go, and situations will shift in ways we can't predict. The more we try to control these changes, the more we resist the natural flow of life. True peace comes when we accept that control is an illusion and that we can still find happiness in uncertainty. 2. Fear of losing identity. We often define ourselves by the things we own, the roles we play, and the relationships we have. I am my job. I am a parent. I am a partner. When these things are threatened, we feel like we're losing a part of ourselves. This is why the fear of loss is so painful. It's not just about the physical things, it's about our identity. In Buddhism, we are taught that the self is not a fixed entity. The concept of a permanent, unchanging self is an illusion. Our identity is fluid, constantly evolving. When we cling to the idea that who we are is tied to what we have, we are stuck in a cycle of fear and suffering. Letting go of this attachment to identity frees us to evolve and experience life without fear. 3. Fear of losing relationships. At the heart of human existence lies the desire for connection. Relationships are a central part of our lives, but the fear of losing a loved one, whether through a breakup, death, or distance, is one of the most painful fears we can experience. We often hold on so tightly to people, thinking that without them, we will be lost, empty, or incomplete. Buddhism teaches us that love and attachment are two very different things. Attachment is when we expect something from others, such as constant companionship or affection. But true love is unconditional and free. It's about accepting others as they are, not as we wish them to be. When we can love without attachment, we allow people to be their true selves without fear of losing them. This way, we stop letting the fear of losing someone create tension or anxiety in our relationships. 4. Fear of losing success or wealth. The pursuit of success and wealth is ingrained in today's society. We're told that happiness and fulfillment come from acquiring more, achieving more, and reaching higher social statuses. But as you've likely experienced, the pursuit of success often brings with it the fear of losing it all. This fear can be paralyzing. What if all the hard work, effort, and sacrifices you've made amount to nothing? What if you lose your wealth, your status, or your achievements? The answer from a Buddhist perspective is that true happiness does not come from external accomplishments. External success is fleeting, and if your sense of worth is tied to it, you will live in constant fear of losing everything. 5. Overcoming the fear of loss. So how do we overcome this fear of losing everything? The answer lies in detachment, not in the sense of withdrawing from life, but in letting go of the attachment to outcomes, to possessions, and to identity. By learning to detach, we free ourselves from the anxiety of loss. Detachment doesn't mean indifference or lack of care. It means being able to appreciate and love things for what they are, not for what they represent in relation to our ego. It means finding peace in the knowledge that nothing lasts forever and that we are enough, even if everything we hold dear is taken away. Buddhism teaches us to embrace the impermanence of life, to find peace in the ebb and flow of change, and to stop clinging to things that ultimately cause us pain. When we stop living in constant fear of losing, we open ourselves up to true freedom, a freedom that comes from within, not from external circumstances. The key to overcoming the fear of loss is acceptance. Accepting that loss is part of the human experience and that even in the face of loss, we can find peace. By embracing the impermanence of life, we can live with more openness, more love, and less fear. This brings us to Lesson 5, the ultimate freedom. Letting go of control, where we'll explore how letting go of the need to control everything can lead to the most profound freedom you'll ever experience. Lesson 5, the ultimate freedom, letting go of control. Imagine trying to hold on to water in your hands. No matter how tight you grip, the water slips through your fingers. The more you try to hold it in place, the faster it escapes. This is what life feels like when we try to control everything. We tighten our grip on situations, relationships, and outcomes, believing that if we just manage it all, we'll finally feel secure. But the truth is, the more we try to control life, the more out of control it becomes. In a world where uncertainty is the only constant, control can seem like the answer to our problems. We strive to control our finances, our health, our careers, and even the people around us. We believe that the more we control, the safer we'll be. But this illusion of control often creates more anxiety, more stress, and more suffering than it solves. Buddhism teaches a profound truth. Letting go of control is the key to freedom. This doesn't mean we abandon responsibility or stop taking action. It means we release the need to dominate, manipulate, or force outcomes. Instead, we embrace the natural flow of life, accepting what comes and letting go of what goes. When we stop trying to control everything, we make room for life to unfold on its own terms. And in that space of acceptance, we find a peace that goes beyond external circumstances. But how do we get to that point? How do we let go of the need for control in a world that constantly demands it? 1. Recognizing the illusion of control. The first step toward freedom is understanding that control is an illusion. No matter how much effort we put into managing every aspect of our lives, there are always variables beyond our influence. We can't control the weather, the economy, or the actions of others. We can't control our past, and we certainly can't control the future. The more we fight against this reality, the more we suffer. Buddhism teaches us that attachment to control comes from a deep sense of fear and insecurity. We fear the unknown, and we mistakenly believe that if we just control everything, we'll be safe. But the truth is that safety is an illusion too. The world is unpredictable, and the more we try to force our will on it, the more we are pulled away from peace and inner harmony. 2. Surrendering to life's flow. The path to freedom comes through surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but in releasing the need to control every outcome. When we surrender to life, we stop fighting against the natural flow of things. We start to accept that things may not go the way we want, but that doesn't mean we are powerless. Surrendering doesn't mean passivity. It means actively choosing to engage with life as it comes, without resistance. It's about aligning ourselves with the ebb and flow of life, trusting that things will unfold as they should. When we stop resisting, we start to experience a profound peace, a sense of freedom that comes from knowing that everything is in its rightful place, even when we can't see it. In Buddhism, the practice of non-attachment is crucial to this process. It's not about abandoning goals or desires. It's about not becoming so attached to the outcome that we lose sight of the journey. By letting go of the desperate need to control, we can engage with life more fully, enjoying each moment without the constant stress of trying to control it. 3. Embracing impermanence. The root cause of our desire to control is often a fear of impermanence, the fear that things will change and we won't be able to handle it. The more we cling to things, the more we try to control them, the more we create suffering for ourselves. But what if we embraced impermanence? What if we accepted that life is constantly changing and that this change is natural? Buddhism teaches that everything is impermanent. Our emotions, our thoughts, our relationships, and our possessions. When we accept this, we can release the grip we have on things. Instead of fearing change, we begin to flow with it. We embrace the uncertainty of life, trusting that each new phase brings growth and opportunities. The power of trust. Letting go of control requires a deep sense of trust. Trust in life, in others, and in ourselves. It means trusting that things will unfold as they are meant to, even when we can't predict the outcome. It means trusting that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way, no matter how challenging it may seem. Trusting life is one of the most freeing things you can do. When you trust, you stop living in fear of the unknown. Instead of fearing what you can't control, you embrace the mystery, knowing that each moment is a gift to be experienced. This trust allows us to relax, to let go, and to live fully in the present moment. 5. The ultimate freedom. Letting go of control. The ultimate freedom comes when we stop trying to control the uncontrollable. When we let go of the need to manipulate life, we stop exhausting ourselves in a futile battle. We open ourselves to the peace that comes with acceptance. By letting go of control, we don't lose our ability to shape our lives. Instead, we gain the freedom to make choices without the pressure of controlling the outcome. We free ourselves from the weight of fear and anxiety. We live in harmony with the world around us instead of in constant resistance to it. And so, letting go of control is not a sign of weakness. It's the path to true strength. It's about having the courage to face the unknown without fear, to trust the process of life, and to embrace the impermanence of all things. The more we let go, the more we make room for peace, for joy, and for true freedom. If you've learned something new today, take a moment to reflect on what you're still holding on to. Is it time to let go? What would it feel like to release your grip on control and trust the flow of life? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. What does freedom mean to you? How can you begin letting go today? Don't forget to subscribe for more videos on Buddhist wisdom and how to live a life of peace and purpose. If this video resonated with you, be sure to check out our next one, where we'll dive deeper into embracing the present moment and living without regret. Remember, the less we control, the more we live.